Now, I don't have any type of Lego construction for this project, and I just researched it, and it turns out Lego doesn't for this type of stuff. So that means accidentally buried hard. Up, the platform went up. Also tried to work out some kind of lifting mechanism. However, this is the point in the project where I gave up. I literally, genuinely speaking, just gave up with this project. So yeah, now there is tons and tons of things that I can do with this project. Okay, so this is where we're up to inside this project right here, and all with the working mini bowling alley project. So there's a couple of things that I need to go ahead and change. First up, we need to change the dropping floor to a little tiny lifting mechanism, so because inside a normal bowling alley project, you wouldn't actually tend on getting that type of stuff. And also, yeah, I managed to fix it. And it's actually because of the fact that I actually took inspired by this video right here, you know.
I'm not good at that. This guy is pretty cool though. This is a working lift. And what's cool about this, all you do is just slide this piece over and it actually lifts up. And it is a little flimsy, but it does work.
And basically, inside that video, there was like a platform sitting on top, and you literally, generally speaking, he said to move that in more inwards in there. But then I was thinking to get that moving up and down. So yeah. And then all we have to do is basically put this mechanism at some point right here, and then now, that means it could go from here to here. Well, you can't really see it in a way, but it will go from there to there. And then that will lift down like that. And also the next step anyway, is to sort out the bumpers. No, yeah, we need to sort out the bumpers and the rails and all that go down the sides. Yeah, we need the gaps. Now what my thinking is, we're actually going to go ahead and replace these road pieces with without having the road pieces there, and actually just put some Lego pieces there instead. So then that means we can go ahead and actually put some Lego railings down on the side, and then we need to try and figure out the mechanisms for when the railings all of a sudden come up and like this basically, and stop the ball from going off, and then all of a sudden lowers into the railings just like that, and to never be seen again. But when you want them to be seen again, they just rise up, and then that's it. So yeah, alright, I'm gonna go ahead and focus on building that now, and then yeah, see you in a bit. And also yeah, okay, so this is the project so far. Now with the fact that I put a blue board here, a blue board here, and a grey board here, and a grey board here. However, I've come to the conclusion that that might be a downer side to this project. As you can see, it sticks out all over the side here, and it sticks out all over the side here. So my thinking is, we're going to use this Lego board instead. Yeah, we're going to also that the fact, if we really wanted to, we can flip it upside down. But then notice that is way too big for the track. It's just the right amount of size, so if we want to, we can go ahead and take all 4 of these boards off and actually replace it with this one. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead now and change all 4 of these boards with this big board, so then that means that we can actually go ahead now and use all 4 of these boards for the actual bowling alley itself, rather than using these road pieces because of the... However, we can always use these roundabout pieces for another micro, or for the micro bowling alley project. Yeah, you had me correct. We're going to turn this into a series, and also this is the biggest formation that this project is going to be. Now we're just going to shrink it until we get... And we're going to keep on shrinking it until we get it this size. Yeah, we're going to get it this size. Obviously, we'll extend this bit out so it's more legit, but that means that we're going to actually have to work more and more tightly in the situations of the space that is being provided, and that is going to be a really good series. Because you know now, Mark version 15 Lego project is the very last Lego project to be on this channel for the Mark version projects, and then that's it. I'm done and out the way with those now. So, yeah. And then this is basically going to be the new series coming out of me making the mini bowling alley project, but smaller. Okay, so quick update on shrinking and shrinking this micro mini bowling alley project and all. Well, yeah, fun fact and all. Fun fact inside this video, you actually see in this video, I've given up again inside this video, which is quite bad and all, but still. And you can still comment down below if I should continue working on it or not, and all, and then yeah. I'll see what happens and all, because at this rate and all, it's taken me so long just to get to this step. It's unreal and all, so yeah. Okay, so we're gonna build a frame. Oh, okay, that's a problem. A problem right here. So if we place a brick there, you can see what that will overlap. But if we place a brick like that, then it will still overlap. So yeah. Alright, there we go. Now that is a frame. Okay, so there it is. It's done now. So as you can see, we have got a very nice Lego frame all around it, and you can see as well now I've embedded the little tiny brackets into our frame that we've just built on the sides just here. Now frankly enough, this was actually a lot more easier to make on this bit, half of it you could say so. Yeah, exact same goes with this bit. Same goes with this bit over here as well. Now. So easy to make and also. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is for the next step and all, we're actually going to shrink it. Oh yeah. Because if you actually notice now, this is going to be our bowling alley, and if we just place that down just right here, you can see it's very quite low, and the floor is up to here, not to here. And also, if you haven't noticed as well, I have put the piece from the fact that these pieces are not facing the right way around, and it's because of that one Technic beam just right in the middle, just right there. That is actually stopping it from being the normal regular brick size that it would be when you would place a brick like that, and now you can't do that now. No. So my next thinking is, I'm actually going to go ahead and see that the fact that that is blue, that is blue, that is not blue, but we still need to trim that one, and that one is blue, that one is blue, that one is not blue, but that one's blue, and that one is blue. Well, yeah, we're going to change every single one of these blue ones with these white ones instead. For example, like the winching mechanism, that needs to go up and down, but do you see the size? This is tiny. More or less, it's the exact same size if I were to just stretch it out like that. But this can go smaller. It can go like that, and I can fit a motor onto this shaft here, this shaft bit here, and leave that one blank. Alright, enough of me talking. I'm going to go ahead now and change these white ones for these blue ones, so the measurement changes in size. So I took out the Technic that was in here, and now to replace with this, I can't get it back in. Oh, I can actually see that it connects. It's broken. It was right there. It's literally broken, this input. So it was literally, generally speaking, and all right there. And it's just broken. It should be right there. I mean, could just do it like that. That makes sense, though, so, yeah. Okay, so that took for ages, but we're finally... Okay, so that took for ages, but we're finally there with this project right now. And all. So as you can see, it's a lot more smaller than it actually is. You can see we've got white ones instead. And you can also see that this one is not actually connected. No, if you saw the last clip and all, this doesn't work. It's like snapped completely off. So yeah, that's fun. Then the next task was to go ahead and all to continue working on the motors and everything like that. And yeah, finally actually upgrade everything that's on it now and also yeah. Okay, so we're back on this project. As you can see, it is a little bit more different compared to last time around. We have actually got a fully working ramp now. You place the ball on, it actually slides down and pops out here. We have got a fully legit top section here now, and it's quite nicely on there and strong. I've pinned it down to the frame here and here, which is connected onto this main board and this blue board and this grey board. As you can see, that's what it looks like. Basically the 8-bit 2 is going to go there, and then the phone screen. So basically the phone can easily just sit in there, and when you turn it on, you can now see that you can see basically the whole entire screen from just the windows here. And then we got the 8-bit 2 here, which actually, surprise surprise, you put the USB through the top here and it will basically pin itself up. As you can see, it's on there now, and then that means that we've got our two connections, our 3-volt ground and our 3-volt input, and then we can, as you can see there, we can see our screen, which is very, very handy and key for this project. You can see the screen right there, and then obviously, you know, powers through USB and also. So, but what I'm realizing now is this. The lifting mechanism is a right pain in the butt. So this is the winch mechanism kind of thing. It moves up and down. Well, it's supposed to. Now, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's a worm gear to a gear, and that has actually slowed it just enough to now move like this. However, the conclusion is we're not actually getting quite a lot of height when doing this. So my thinking is, even though winches didn't work last time around, I'm thinking to actually mount the winch on the bottom, and then for it to actually go up and then go down, and then loop around something to then go down and back up. And what I can also do is put a worm gear ratio on this homemade winch mechanism, so then that means it doesn't fall back on itself when it applies weight, because you can see I can't turn this mechanism from the top gear. However, it still does work, but only when the motor is spinning it works. I can physically not move it in there. It's basically locked itself. I can physically not move this, but when the motor is on, it can move it. So yeah. Alright, I'm going to change that mechanism out with my winching mechanism, but I'll keep the worm gear where it is, and then yeah, see you in a bit or not. So yeah. Okay, so this is the project so far now, and if I go ahead now and switch this switch on right now, so you can see this is what the project looks like at the moment. You can see it actually looks a lot more different compared to what you saw last time around, and it actually has a battery and a receiver and a little tiny motor there, and it's on a gear ratio to a worm gear ratio to a pulley system to a winch here, and then there's another gear ratio just down there, which is a gear to gear, and then it's connected on here. So yeah, and we can lift. Oh wait, hang on a minute, it's not doing it for the other side for some reason. There we go. Look, we can lift. So you can see right now, this container is at that full peak. And then sometimes it does do that, but it just gets caught on there. And there you go. Now I have put these white bits. Now these are just string bits, so you know, once it's at full peak, once it's basically at full peak, you can see now that these strings are actually helping. And when you go up, you kind of gotta let this one go up and not just this one. And then there you go. It'll look like that. So yeah. And the way that this works is actually quite genius, you know. So basically, both of the winches are down here. This winch right here is the very first winch to go into the motor, and then this is your secondary, winch right here, and that goes in from that gear ratio, which is a double gear. Exact same gear ratio. So then, because this wheel goes up whilst this wheel goes down, so yeah. And then this basically comes up to here. It should ideally be on this wheel, but it's not. And then it's obviously, you know, connected onto this bit, it connects here, and then it's been taped onto this bit of the frame here and here. And what it's also been done as well now is because I noticed when this winch was on, it was yanking this down. So I've made a little tiny pillar support beam right in the middle, and it goes all the way down, and it sits on the winch just there. And then I noticed that was still not enough because the basket was here and not here, and it kept on going further this way. So I've ended up using some plain old sticks that I use for this that I use to extend these ones, but they just work for this project because they're long sticks. So yeah. And then this one just basically sits on here, and then this goes on a custom-made Lego stand thing that sits on the back, and there's holes at the back, and then it's taped on like so. And then this bit of rope comes from this bit of connects, and then onto this bit of connects, and then onto this bit of the plastic stick, and then onto the other plastic stick, because that's why there's two of them. One is for this motor, and then one is for this motor, well, winch, and all, because there's only one motor, and then they both go different ways. And then that is how they both go down. And then sometimes it likes to muck about, this motor sometimes. Then there you go, and you can see that's it going up, and that's it going down. It's actually quite cool, this mechanism as well, no? Like, to think and all, when I very first time round, I built this thing, I only used one winch, and it was this one, and then I gave up on this winch, and then ended up using this winch, and then I realised that this winch wasn't going to be enough, so then I was thinking, alright, what about this mechanism, like with the piston mechanism, to extend it fully, and then for it to contract onto there, and for the... However, I could not actually get a motor on this thing, because I put a motor on this bit, and then without realising, I was like, hang on a minute, what's going to be connected on the other side? It's just going to go flying. So it's going to be at this point, and then all of a sudden it's going to be flying over to that point. So it's not going to do anything. So I ended up coming back to the piston design layout, and then managed to actually get it properly working and correct, which instead of me actually having the winches on top of here to move that basket, you've actually got to put it near to the source. So I put it down to here, and then it's looped around these two, and obviously looped around these two. Now, one thing that I could change, is possibly, not have this rope being here, and actually have this rope being on this bit of the frame. So, and then they both are in sync. I mean, to be fair though, I could possibly do that right now, and all. No, that feels a lot more flimsier now. And it still does work the same way, but still. I've noticed though, that it keeps on catching on to this bit though, which is quite bad though, and also, yeah. I think I might change it back because, like I just said, it keeps on catching on to itself because it's more pushed that way and not in the centre. So, yeah, if we just... Yeah, that's way more stiffer. Okay, so I'm going to leave it like that because, like, that's properly stiff, and then that's actually stiff. Like, this is actually stiff, and then that's still quite loose, but still. But it just works so much better. And then that just gets loosely attached on, but still. It works so much better when there's two winches either side. And then this is what the front looks like. It's quite nice, no? It actually has quite a nice bowling alley vibe to it as well, no? And if we grab ourselves a marble out, this is quite cool what I've come up with. And you can see it going down here. And then it gets caught down there. And then this is where you can retrieve your ball. And then you can try it again. And then you might just get it in. Oh no, I just stepped all over it. And it doesn't matter whereabouts it is, it will always come out. And even if it's just here, it will still come out. If it's coming off, like there are barriers here and along the side here, because I didn't want to make it too hard. So basically the gutters are only on the left hand side, but the gutters are not on the right hand side, but as you can see it's all nicely blocked off on this side, and that is mainly where the boards are connected. You can see they are mainly connected on that side because you've got the gutters on this side. So yeah, and then obviously, you know, you got this bit and all, that is where the 8-bit do is going to go, and then this bit is where the phone is going to go, and then that is going to display what rounds you've been on, and then the 8-bit do is going to tell you how many points you got and all. Speaking of the 8-bit do, it's right here, did try and program it. However, I am quite bad at coding, so yeah, I couldn't get the code to work for the sake of this video, and also, yeah. Now, anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Now, this video was recorded on the tablet instead of recorded on the mini PC, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let's see you in the next one, and bye-bye. So yeah.